Update. Jack was just about to go home, and we decided we want to watch out for our friends out there in southwestern Kansas. Dangerous storm at this hour, and we're going to bring you up to date on that. That's our focus. We don't plan on staying with this all night, but we do think it's important right now because this storm is doing business.
It is.
So let's take you on over to our radar. You can see where we still got a number of severe thunderstorms across the plains right now for both Nebraska and also Kansas. But by far and large, the most dangerous storm located right down here towards Dodge City. It's just off to the east of Dodge City near Ford. We'll put this into motion for you, and this is a no-doubter. It's been on the ground for a while. Information coming in from the National Weather Service out of Dodge City, Kansas. Numerous reports of damage from that storm, and again, tornado warning, tornado observed. Tornado damage threat considerable. This storm is also capable of producing winds over 75 miles per hour. That's outside of the tornado, and also hail to 2 inches in diameter. There's a look at the current storm on our analyst radar, and you can see that we've got the velocity field on the right, we've got the reflectivity here on the left, and you've got this area where you've got it's definitely a hook echo. And the rotation in here has been quite intense, where at times we've seen rotation as high as about 130 knots gate to gate. Right now we're looking at inbounds coming in at about 53 miles per hour, outbounds at about 40, so you've got gate to gate shear of about 90 miles an hour right now. So if you've got anybody in the area at all, be sure to share this video. Help to get the word out again that that's a dangerous storm. It's a no-doubter. It's been observed, and it's been observed on the ground for a while. So if you don't mind helping us get the word out that there is a dangerous tornado on the ground, again across portions of southwestern Kansas. This is very close to Dodge City. Dodge City is now in the clear. It's off to the east, but look at that hook echo, Jack. My goodness.
That is very.
It's pretty. It's
pronounced.
It's pretty classic.
Yeah.
Now you can see the evolution of this storm as it's gained that characteristic hook echo. And you pointed out earlier when it was likely a debris ball, and it might be a debris ball now. That's this area on the tip of the hook where you've got what appears to be kind of just this bulge in the convection. Well, that actually may be debris. So let me put a marker on this, and we'll see how that corresponds with the velocity. Take a look up at different levels. It's definitely got a bit of a tilt. And looking over at correlation coefficient, and that'll kind of be the telltale sign if there is vaulted debris, and there it is. That's a pretty, I think that's a pretty solid bet that that thing is on the ground right now. Again, showing a pretty solid debris signature with that. And keep in mind, you're pretty close to the radar site, so you're getting some pretty good radar information. Right now, we're looking at 51, 52 mile per hour towards the radar site, and about 40 miles per hour away from the radar site, 90 mile per hour gate-to-gate shear with, again, a hook echo associated with the storm. Where is it going? If you're in the town of Kinsley, you need to be in your safe place. Garfield, take shelter now. Lewis, Belpre, Trousdale. Now, if this thing makes a right turn, and they call those right movers, if it does, that's usually a sign of strengthening. So you're not in a good position over there in Trousdale. So you want to be in your safe place as well, just in case that storm does make a nasty move like that. Jack, what are you seeing? Anything on the Twitter sphere?
Let me take a look here. Getting a lot of alerts. A lot of the same alert come in. A lot of people are posting images of velocity returns. It's all coming in so quick. It's hard to keep up here. This tweet deck is really going crazy tonight.
All right, so I'm going to pull up what I can from Twitter, and I'll try to share that with you guys in real time here. Lots of pictures from the earlier tornadoes out of Nebraska. But as far as the information concerning this, it's nighttime now, so it's much more dangerous. That's my friend Mark Weinberg. He's also tracking these storms tonight. And yeah, I mean, impressive, very impressive signatures. Just a little while earlier, I think it had peaked, but it's still, even right now, it's something that you don't want to mess around with. So let's take a look back at the storm. Again, there is a tornado warning. This is an observed tornado. We'll get all the warning information up to date for you. So here's a look at it. This is coming in for Pawnee County, southwestern Stafford County, Edwards County, in south central Kansas. That is an observed tornado. Goes until 10:45 p.m., so that's 11:45 Eastern. Confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Offerly. Oh, I'm going to mess this one up. Offerly, maybe. Offerly. If you live there, you know what I'm talking about. Moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Damaging tornado. Law enforcement confirmed tornado. You are in a life-threatening situation. Flying debris may be deadly to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be destroyed. Considerable damage to homes, businesses, and vehicles likely to complete destruction. Yeah, that's pretty strong wording. Complete destruction possible with the storm, they're saying.
Yeah.
Now, so yeah, it's got that definite hook. And this is just a very, very healthy looking supercell thunderstorm. I'm going to try to take a look at this through our volumetric scanning tool. And this may help us to identify the internal structure of the storm a little bit more. Give me just a moment while I pop this on here for you. And then, so Jack, how many viewers do we have? Are you sharing that? I did not share that.
Yes, I shared it on my page here.
Okay.
I just have a few viewers right now. Looks like we got 6.
Okay. Yeah, it's a small crowd.
Small crowd. but that's fine. If we get this message out to 6 people, better than.
And keep in mind, this program we launched today, first one, earlier today. So this new program is WxLIVE Now. Basically, our purpose is to cover severe weather when, especially when lives are in danger. So today we launched. We'll see where this takes us, but I definitely think it's important. I know that there's interest out there. So if you can help to spread the word that Jack and I are doing this, that would help. But here's your volumetric tool. Now this is neat. This is one of the really cool features of this analyst radar that we use. It's a Gibson Ridge product. I mean, really, basically, you're looking at that thunderstorm as a whole. In this thunderstorm, I mean, it's healthy. It's a Titan. I'm gonna rescan that, and this time I want to include maybe a little bit of a larger area. There's a new look at the scan, and you can see where you've got very, very strong convective updrafts. It is tilted a little bit, but this is just a nasty, nasty looking storm. Now we can detect rotation through this as well. So what I want to see is where you're seeing these blues and the greens. These are areas of rotation. You've got that strong, what we call normalized rotation at the bottom. The whole cell is turning. That's why you see so much color on here. The tube perhaps stronger a few frames ago. Let me go back, see if it'll allow me to. It will. There. And there you see it right there.
There it is.
That's a no doubter. Again, a few minutes ago, right there, where you see that. That's normalized rotation. It's an algorithm that this radar uses to identify, again, where the greatest probability of that tornado occurring. So it looks like it's trying to cycle right now. So it might be cycling down, but I'm also seeing hints that it's cycling back up. Let me turn this particular mode off. We'll go back over to your normal radar view.
I have an interesting tweet here from Brad Panovich.
Yeah.
He says it looks like there was a brief anticyclonic satellite tornado around the parent tornado.
And that may very well have been the case. Let me go back and look. So you're looking for basically 2 velocity fields. I see the one. Could there have been another one? So that is a there it is. If I look at normalized rotation, that's going to be very strong. There, bam. But you're saying that you see a satellite. Now, really, realistically, that's what you're looking at with those blues and greens. One's turning one way, the greens are turning the other way. But it's very common. Anytime you get a vortex, it's spinning hard in one direction. It forces the air around it to take on a separate characteristic. It doesn't mean necessarily that you actually have 2 tornadoes. I don't see enough evidence here that would lead me to believe that. But there's no doubt that was on the ground for a while. And let's go. This is go back over to the latest image, and it doesn't look like it's quite as well put together as it was. It's still a dangerous storm. Tornado warning does continue, and the information is for Central Pawnee, southwestern Stafford, and Edwards County there in south central Kansas. That goes until 10:45. We'll continue to monitor. There's a current look at velocity. Yeah, it's just not quite as well put together as it was. Maybe, hopefully, this is the start of a weakening trend, but who knows? Who knows? If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Again, this is a new venture we just launched today. Now, I've had the channel for a little while, but this is the first time we were live streaming for the purpose of providing real-time severe weather coverage. This is my friend Jack Allen. Look him up. You can find him on YouTube. RNYN.
I changed it.
Have you? Well, look him up.
I'm at Rochester TV Archives.
Okay, that's great information. And then Amanda Cross on here. She's on the Twitter tonight. Did you share that with me or something? What is she? Oh, no, she was to the. This is our 3rd video tonight. We have a regularly scheduled program that airs at 9:45 most nights, called WxLIVE at 9:45. It focuses on where we live, Western New York, Rochester, and the Finger Lakes. But prior to that, we did our first severe weather coverage earlier this evening. for portions of Nebraska and Texas specifically. And then after the 9:45 show, we saw this storm spin up, and we thought it was important to provide at least some coverage. You know, if nothing else, you know, we're helping in a small way, which is just fine by us. We would like to get the word out to more people. Wow, look at that storm. I'm watching this live on YouTube. I'm watching us live on YouTube, and that, my friends, it's a healthy but ugly storm. Okay, I mean, from a meteorological perspective, that honestly is a very good-looking storm. I don't mean that in a positive way. I just mean that it's very, it's just that's a nasty look. I can tell you, you know, from experience, living and working out there in the plains in that part of Kansas. And I was never in Dodge City. I was in Topeka, but we would watch these storms approaching out the western parts of the state, and at night those things are just a terror because you can't let them go and you can't necessarily see them outside of lightning. Lightning's the only way you kind of know it's really occurring. Yeah, it's very frightening. But you know, with that being said, those you know, those that live out there, they have a much greater understanding the risks involved, the dangers involved, and typically they are much better prepared to act on a storm like that. All right, so give me just a second. I want to send out this message. I want to take you back over to the updated radar. I'm going to throw in the loop so you can kind of watch this thing as it progresses. Again, you've got reflectivity on the left, you've got velocity on the right. New information coming in from the National Weather Service. Dodge City continues tornado warning observed. Threat considerable, hail to 2.5 inches, so baseball-sized hail. Edwards, Pawnee, Stafford counties involved with this. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Kinsley, moving northeast at about 35 miles per hour. So that's Edwards, Pawnee, and Stafford counties.
How do you feel about this? I don't want to read that unless that's not accurate.
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Mike Smith is very well respected, and before I say no, I need to look at more data. I will say that the structure of the storm would support F3 for sure. You just don't see that type of structure before. But Mike Smith is very well respected. If he says it, he probably really believes it's true. So go ahead. You can tell him what he says.
Yeah, Mike Smith is saying this is likely an EF4 or EF5 tornado, strongest radar signature since Greensburg.
Greensburg, Kansas, for those that
yeah.
Unfamiliar with that storm, absolutely devastated that town. It took a direct hit. Well, what we don't want to see is a town taking a direct hit here. So I'm getting the warning out on my Twitter feed now.
Dodge City is tweeting that tornado is imminent in Lewis.
Okay, so the town of Lewis, you're next in line. And then I'm going to put this over, I mean, might as well, since we're all tracking this together, put this on the Facebook as well tonight. Okay. I'm just going to provide a link.
Right.
Yeah, we're not. All right, so let's get the latest on this storm again. Just a nasty looking supercell thunderstorm. I mean, that's strong wording coming in from Mike Smith. Mike Smith, he's been in the business for a long time, and you may know him from AccuWeather. But he says, again, we were a little distracted at the beginning of this tornado because we were doing another live program. But if he says that he believes that it's F4, F5, maybe the strongest since Greensburg, that says a lot. That's a very, very strong statement. I think it's in the middle of recycling right now, though.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it did before on radar. I'm going to take you to our other radar source in just a moment. So we're out of Dodge City. Make sure that we get that live radar up and running for you. And why?
Yeah, turn off your national.
It's a national that's interfering with it.
It shouldn't be. Go back over to the other.
Okay, new tornado warning issued as well. This is for a storm that's up on the Interstate 70 corridor. So I can show you that in a moment. So we've got not one, but now we've got 2 warnings that are out there we want to share with you. The worst of the bunch is out here again near the town of Lewis being impacted by this right now. So what did I just move? All right. So here's another angle for you. Put this in motion. You can see 2 warned cells. Certainly just from an aesthetic look, just aesthetically, the southern storm does appear to be the most likely candidate for producing tornadoes. But we want to investigate the other one as well. And as we speak, it looks like something is spinning up on this thing.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
good grief. What?
Yeah, what is that?
So we got, oh my goodness. It's 130 mile per hour winds moving. So that would be away from the radar site. That is a massive, what we call, that's on the rear flank. That's a massive, massive outflow along the rear flank downdraft. And so if it's not on the ground, that could very easily spin it back up. So I'm trying to gauge, let me see what normalized rotation's looking like. There it is, it's popping again.
Oh, look at that little town there.
Yeah, the town of Lewis is about to get blasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just urgency needs to be required here. Anybody that knows anybody near that part of Kansas, just share, get this out there. Okay, so this is confirmed. Yes, this is absolutely confirmed. It's coming in from the Cascadian Hiker. I can see the hook. Oh my, nasty, nasty looking supercell. So let's go back over to analyst. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So we've been watching this thing, and I've got normalized rotation on the right. Let me take you back over to storm relative velocity, and you can kind of watch this thing as it just kind of pops. So you go back a couple frames. It looks like it had cycled down, and now it looks like it's trying to recycle back up. If nothing else, you've got a terrific rear flank downdraft, but that looks like it's circulating, and we can confirm that looking over at normalized rotation. So that's this product here, and you know, it's spun up. Well, hopefully it spins back down. As they say, we shall see. But the words of Mike Smith of AccuWeather fame, he thinks that this storm, the strongest that he has seen, and he, you know, this guy knows his Kansas weather, strongest that he has seen since Greensburg, and I don't think I have to tell you how strong that storm was. Greensburg, Kansas, that tornado, I'm trying to remember the year, was 2007. For those that don't know, that storm was it was massive. Over a mile wide, F5, and it completely, utterly destroyed the town. Fortunately, until now, we haven't had a storm, a town that's directly in line. Hopefully we don't. This storm, again, very, very capable. There's a look at the latest. Oh, let me catch back up. All right, so the storm does not look as well organized as it did um, 20, 30 minutes ago. So hopefully, it's losing some of its punch. But yeah, here's where it was when it was just an absolute no doubter.
Mm-hmm.
I want to look back at the INROD. Oh, not over there. Like you here. And so I'm trying to assess which communities were affected by this, and it looks like it's, wow. Look at some of these numbers here. Staggering. A 2.4 at 887 feet. That's just goes to that just basically shows you the confidence that is extremely high that this thing was doing business.
The SPC has issued a mesoscale discussion just on this particular
storm, as it should.
Yeah.
Rotation's come down a little bit though. Hopefully that's good news for the town of Lewis, as it's being impacted right now by this storm. Here's a look at it. Backing it back out, putting it back into motion for you. Let's see who we've got. The Cascadian Hiker on here. Did you guys get to see the tornado down in Texas? We did look at some of the radar imagery. I don't think I've seen any photographs of that. But let me know if you've got a good source. We'll check it out. Any of you guys new to this channel, please hit subscribe and hit the notifications. We're just launching this thing today. This is our second live video of the day. Basically, Jack Allen, myself, meteorologist Jerry Kappell, with you. Just the idea of the program, Weather Live Now. Basically, anytime you have life-threatening weather or major severe weather events or episodes, we're going to use this as a platform to help get the warning out, to help educate people, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to build a bit of a community as well in the process. Here's the latest from the Weather Service, talking about, you mentioned new area forecast discussions out. They basically haven't had anything new for about 12 minutes now on the tornado warning. The latest was that it was observed. It was near the town of Kinsley, moving northeast to 35. That was at 11:11 p.m. Eastern, so that's 10:11 Central Time. And let's go ahead and investigate that other storm that's located to the north. Keep in mind, there is a second tornado warning. This one not confirmed. And in fact, they already lifted that one. I want to go back and what were they looking at? That's all right. It's an afterthought. So this storm near Kinsley, that's the one that earlier was producing what looked like a no-doubt tornado. It looks like it's cycling back up again over the town of Lewis. Oh, don't like to see that.
No.
That is winds of 64 knots one way, and the other way, you get about 60 on top of about 40. You've got about 100 mile per hour, almost gate to gate. Let's check the INROD status, and it's cycling back up. Let's go ahead and just do a kind of a cross section of this storm, see what it looks like. And it's well over 50,000 feet. I'm going to show this to you guys here. Okay, so we're going to add a window. A new information coming in from the National Weather Service as we speak. Just saw power flashes, and the tornado is on the ground in Lewis. Dang it. I don't like to see that, so that's basically what the Weather Service is saying. Indeed, what we're seeing on the radar is actually happening. The storm looks like it's back on the ground near the town of Lewis. We were hoping that Lewis would get spared. Maybe not. So this is that cross section of the storm. Looking, you get a very, very healthy supercell thunderstorm where you've got echo tops in excess of 50,000 feet. So this is what we call a big boy storm. And there's that velocity. Again, it's ratcheting. Oh, yeah, it's ratcheting right back up. Town of Lewis, I'm hoping that you guys are going to be spared the worst of this. But it's close. It's very close on top of you guys. Let me see here. All right, so there it is. Let's take a look at a sample here. That's winds of gate-to-gate winds 71 way. You got it 45 the other way. I'm not great at math, but that's 115 mile per hour gate-to-gate. So you betcha that's quite problematic. Looking at your inroads over here on the right, and there it is spiking again. So where is this storm? It went right over the town of Lewis. That's when we saw that velocity pick back up. And we'd like to think that it was spared, but there's no way you can guarantee that. Let's take a slice of that hook. Okay, this is what I'm looking at here. Looking for any vaulted debris signature. And then we'll take a look at the volumetric scan. I'm going to widen out a little bit. And this is what that supercell looks like. And it's a classic plains nighttime supercell. Worst case scenario if it rolls right over your town at night. So this is the let me make sure you guys are able to see this. So there it is. That's the volumetric scan, and what we're scanning for here is rotation. So the entire structure is rotating. Here's a look at the actual reflectivity. And so if you could just take the storm as a three-dimensional structure, this will give you kind of a visualization of what it might look like. Now earlier in Texas, I want to mention this. Earlier in Texas, we were looking at these storms that had these bases of over 10,000 feet. That rarely, if ever, produces a tornado on the ground because it's that much more work to get that funnel down. This thing, it's got a base somewhere of around 3,000 feet, maybe 4. So that's not far off the ground to begin with. And so the storm does not have to work as hard to produce a tornado. All right, so latest information that we've got is that there is power flashes that are occurring. This is coming in from Cake First Alert Team. This is one of their watchers or chasers, I'm assuming, Tony Labach on here with power flashes, tornado on the ground in the town of Lewis. And there it is. So we're still showing on that latest scan here. You can see where it really picked up the last couple. And let's see how that measures up to where. And that could very well be a debris ball. Let's take a look at CC. I'm going to go back. Yeah, there could very well be a little debris in here. So let me take you over to velocity. Yeah, right there, place marker puts it right there. So yeah, I would say that's a TDS. That is a tornadic debris signature. Not what you want to see, but the good news is that it's one storm. It's isolated. The storms to the north just severe. They're not showing nearly as much rotation, and this storm, while it's still nasty looking, it's not what it was a half hour ago or 45 minutes ago. So I think in that regard, that's good. That's a very good thing. We've got 31 people on here. I'm not sure how you found us, but thank you for coming on over. If you don't mind subscribing to the page, hit the notification. This program just launched today. Myself, meteorologist Jeremy Kappell. I've been doing this for a long time. But we launched it today, Weather Live now. And the idea is for us to be able to cover severe weather when it's really impacting people, when lives are in danger. And, you know, we're hoping to, if nothing else, help to perpetuate the warning process, but also hopefully we can perpetuate learning of meteorology in general, and maybe we can create a bit of a community here. That would be great. That would be great.
Oh, that's great.
So, Jack, you've been a weather enthusiast for much of your life. You and I got to know each other because I was in TV when I first came up here, and I was the chief meteorologist for the local NBC station. Some things happened, we'll say, and now we're here doing some new things through where I think weather's going to go anyway. It's all going to end up through social media, through various digital platforms, not on airwaves. That's not where it's going. It's going here. So we're happy to embrace this and be a part of the revolution, if you will. Where is this at? It says Oxy. You are looking at central Kansas right now. Where the threat has been real. Tornado warnings remain in effect. Earlier today, we had reports of a large destructive tornado on the ground. It looks like the storm unwinding a little bit, but still shows signs at times of producing a tornado. This is just in from the National Weather Service. The Dodge City Weather Service continues the tornado warning observed. Damage threat considerable, still for 2.5-inch hail. Edwards, Pawnee, Stafford County, that goes until 10:45, so about another 14 minutes, and we'll stick with this. Confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Zook, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So that's rather alarming. Let's move on over to our other radar source. And thanks, son. I'm going to refrain. She wants to know if I want to take a 5-hour energy. That means I'll be up until dawn.
Yeah.
Oh. Thank you, dear. I don't know. What do you guys think? Good idea or bad idea?
I don't know.
I mean, you'd only be up till like what, 4 a.m.
I've only been up for about 19 hours now. So
well, this boy's got to go to bed at some point tonight. What time did you get up for work this morning, Jack?
I was up at 5.
5 a.m., my goodness. All right, so looking at the two storms over here on the other radar unit, kind of giving you a broader perspective of what's going on out there tonight. And, you know, it's they're rocking and rolling across the plains. New tornado warning just issued, by the way. This one is for what county? Let me pull this up on our analyst radar. A quick update with the Edwards tornado warning. That's Edwards, Pawnee, Stafford, and it's still showing some healthy signs of rotation. At times, it looks like this thing is touching the ground. I don't think it's definitive that it's on the ground at the moment, but certainly could be. But as mentioned, there's the other storm out there. We want to go over and look at that. So let's expand our view. Jog to the north. I think we're going to have to change radar sites. No, maybe not. And, okay, I misspoke. That warning was earlier. They are not under a tornado warning. That's good. But they did extend the severe thunderstorm warning. That does include Lincoln, Kansas, Watson, Kansas. So National Weather Service out of Wichita has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Lincoln, northwestern Ellsworth, and eastern Russell County in central Kansas. That is for winds to 60 miles per hour and nickel-sized hail. So the threat with that one, not that great. The threat with this one doesn't look as great. It's still a nasty-looking storm, and they haven't decided whether they're going to continue with a tornado warning or if they're going to go ahead and issue a severe. My guess is they'll probably go with tornado warning just because of the type of storm this is. And they'll want to be careful with it. So that's what we're doing. We're being careful with it. So let's see, who do we have on YouTube tonight? Nice little crowd trying to form. I've got Mr. Grinch83, really interesting, informative stream. Well, thank you very much. I think that's a high compliment coming from a YouTuber. We're just kind of, honestly, if you've been dealing with YouTube, let me take that back. I've been on YouTube for a while, but I just started streaming, and this is today the first day of this program. Brainchild of ours. We've been talking about this for a little while.
Yeah.
Now, you've been on YouTube for a while and some live stuff for a while.
Yeah. I've as far as the weather coverage goes, occasionally when we have severe weather, I will put up like the live radar imagery.
And you'll scroll information.
Yeah, put some information on there. But it's great to have you doing this with the viewers here, because you actually have the brains of a meteorologist.
Well, 20 years in the business to do that. 20 years in the business will definitely help with that. I've worked in Texas, I've worked in Kansas, I've worked in Mississippi, Indiana, Kentucky, and now in New York. And now, because we got this wonderful technology, we can cover weather anywhere around the U.S. or for the world, for that matter, if we really wanted to. I think that's a little too much coverage, though. I love the weather, so I can relate to you guys. Only 15. That's the Cascadian hiker. Well, cool. Thank you, and good to have you on here. And we're going to rely on especially you younger YouTubers to help get the word out that we're going to be doing this, not just tonight, but again going forward. Sometimes it'll be Jack and I. Sometimes it'll just be me. I may be able to rotate in other co-hosts at times. So that's what's wrong. It's our other radar that's wrong on the tornado. So radar number one, we will just stick with our primary radar, our analyst, which should be, that's not the one you're looking at. Let me pull that up. Here you go. So current radar, showing you the situation. The storm does not look nearly as organized as it did, but it's still an ugly looking storm with obvious rotation at times. Gosh, I tell you what, Mike may have been right. That just looked nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty, nasty. A little while earlier, it had the looks of just an absolute beast. Kind of going through the life of the storm here. There, look at that. So that rotation area, wow. Okay, so this is earlier. This is not live. So this was at about, let me get my time. This is about an hour ago. About an hour ago. So this would have been around 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, where we had. Okay, they went. I told you they were going to. They issued a new tornado warning for this. And I'll show the new. I just wanted to kind of gauge how this thing peaked out. So we're looking at 94 one way and about 65. So 95 and 65. 160 mile per hour gate to gate. That's gate to gate. There's no way that's not on the ground doing destruction. And look at that. That's your in-rod. You have a signature that's pegged. All right, so let's back out. Take a look at the current. We thought they'd go with a new warning. The threat's not the same as it was, but it's still a threat. That's a ugly looking supercell, and the idea with this time of the night, that they can just impromptu like spit out a hose, drop a trunk with little to no notice. So that's a legitimate fear here tonight, guys. I know it's late, but it is a Friday. What else are you going to do? You're going to track severe weather with us. That's what you're going to do. I've got, is it Mycoli Chewy? Maybe. The storm did weaken, but it recycled, and now there is still a large tornado on the ground north of Belpre. Well, let's investigate. Michelle, I'm sorry, I said your name wrong. McKelly, is that it? What's your status? Are you a chaser? Are you an amateur? Are you a meteorologist? Tell me where you get your information from. I'm looking at the very latest, and what I see is I see some rotation, but it just doesn't look like it did. It's not. It's trying to cycle, but it just doesn't have the structure that it did. In-rots they're okay. They're healthy enough. It could produce. That's the reason they went with the tornado warning. So we'll continue to monitor. Let's go over to our other radar source. Did we get that corrected? No, it's not correct.
Are you current?
Yeah, live, and it still shows that.
It's not showing on mine.
It's not?
No.
So let me turn that radar off. That shouldn't affect the warning though. Alright, so we've got a couple of radar systems. One of them can be quirky at times. And it's being awfully quirky at the moment.
Yeah.
Amy Yates, I'm waiting to put the laundry in the dryer and watching you guys. That's a local supporter up here. And Amy, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Hopefully you get your laundry done and you get to sleep in the morning. Okay, Macaulay back on here. There is down power lines and an active fire from the tornado. What's the location you said? He said it was Belpre. So let's go back over to the radar. See if we can find this town. Belpre, where are you at? There it is. So just north of Belpre, according to radar. And yeah, they absolutely could have dropped a quick hose down here. My guess is it would be a short-lived and relatively weak tornado, certainly compared to what it was likely producing earlier. Okay, so yeah, information according to the National Weather Service is that there may be some unconfirmed reports of a funnel cloud that's halfway to the ground. Again, that's an unconfirmed report. Funnel cloud spotted halfway to the ground. So it may or may not be on the ground now. The data I'm looking at suggests that's probably not, but it could drop down with little to no notice. And those are the worst types of storms because you just got to sit there and watch them and you don't know. Who's downwind of this storm? We've got storm tracking capabilities on the other radar. Let me get that back up and running. I'm just going to have to turn the warnings off. Why are they bad?
I'm not sure.
We got to talk to your guy about this. He's got a guy.
Yeah, guy for everything.
And, oh look, I turned it on and off and it fixed it. Of course it did.
Huh.
All right, go back over to Dodge City radar. All right, new information coming in. There is some damage now being reported to a shed at 136 in Jewel Road, Ford County. Thin cone funnel, high based to my northeast, maybe 5 to 6 miles. Coming in from a spotter from Kwich. I'm at Garfield Road off US 50, just north of the railroad tracks, east of Lewis. Sorry, that funnel is a tornado. Okay. And I'm hearing you loud and clear. Where's this thing going? So we're going to go ahead and put a storm track on this for you. And I haven't used this storm track tool in a little bit, so give me a moment. Jack, where's the storm track tool?
Does yours work? Because mine
Yes, it
rarely
works.
functions.
Yeah,
Draw your manual storm track.
right. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give you best fit on where we believe there could be... Oh, yeah, that doesn't work very well at all. Let me try that again, because I don't have enough towns. This may not work. It's not moving at 70. There you go. We need more communities there, Jack.
Yeah, mine, with one of the more recent updates, I haven't been able to get the communities to populate with the storm track. I'll get the
Right.
ETA,
Yeah.
where you can mouse over, but I haven't been able to get the...
Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, if this does hold together, it will be moving towards a sizable community to Great Bend, Kansas. I've been there a time or two for a weather conference. Great Bend. Hey, let's be optimistic that this thing weakens, and honestly, this time of the night, typically they'll begin to moisture chase, which means they'll begin to make that right turn if they do hold together. At least from my experience, that's what I've noticed. Yeah, Amy, keep them in your prayers. But it is it's open country out there, and most of them have storm shelters. They're used to this sort of thing. But at the same time, you know, you look at Greensburg, what it did. You don't want to see a repeat of that. Let me check my Twitter feed, and I'll let you guys check it out with me. And what are we seeing here? All right, so there's obviously some damage here, possible tornado damage at Colzard. That was earlier at Road 427, 12th. That's Nebraska, the storm that Jack and I were tracking earlier this evening. Getting a lot of pictures, though. Take a look at this. This was shared by Mark Weinberg, former meteorologist I worked with for several years out of WDRB in Kentucky. And Mark also a chaser in his own regard. So I'll retweet that. Now there's a video on here. Let's hope it's not copyright. Let's see. No, I don't see a copyright on it, so we can show you. That's a pretty tornado. That's classic. Just hope that nobody got hit by that thing. So this is earlier near Curtis, Nebraska. Curtis, Nebraska. That's coming in via Twitter feed. Let me give a credit on that. That's Jacqueline Whittle. Jacqueline Whittle. And one of my chats is blowing up. Where are we at? All right, so that is coming in from North Platte, Nebraska. Tornado watch continues until midnight.
Check out the size of this hailstone.
Oh, good grief. No way. That's not a 6-inch hailstone. No. What are they measuring in? Those are centimeters.
Centimeters? Okay.
No way.
Yeah.
Give me some inches on here. Okay, that's 2.5 inch.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a solid baseball.
Mm-hmm.
That is a solid baseball. Pancho Bila. He had a memorial today.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys don't know, he's the very famous Bills and passionate Bills fan from El Paso, Texas. Passed away just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
What day was that?
I believe it was the 14th. That would be Tuesday. Yeah.
So current look at radar, and again, storm does not look like it did. That's good. But still a tornado warned storm nonetheless. New image coming in. I like what I'm seeing. What I see here is a storm that is definitely showing signs of weakening.
Yeah, for sure.
Jack, I really wish I could tellustrate. He's my tech guy. You've got to give me tellustration capabilities. I mean, I can't do my job without.
Do you not have the...
No, whiteboard doesn't pop up.
Doesn't show up?
Well, I don't know why it doesn't. Keep in mind, this is another show, and I'm under a different, same profile, but different scene.
Okay.
We've got some tech to figure out.
Yeah.
We're working on it. I'm seeing a definite weakening trend with this storm. It looks linear to me. I'm going to take you guys over to the other radar. There you are. And what I'm seeing, I'm going to take it over to base velocity. There. Okay. And so you see this line, Jack?
Mm-hmm.
Right there. That's a line that is from rain-cooled air that's rushing out from the thunderstorm. This is the rear flank downdraft, but it's very linear all of a sudden now. That's not the way it was earlier. So let me take this off. We can go back. Ooh, what'd I do? I hit a button. I don't know how this tech works, Jack. You have to help me. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go back.
You have to loop it first, I think.
There it is. All right. You see how right there, if I go back, it's not linear at all.
Mm-hmm.
You've got this gigantic, why don't you toggling forward? All I can do is loop it. But you see how it's straightening out?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically it went from very much rotation based to what appears to be not just the rear flank downdraft, but the front downdraft is now merging with the rear flank. And that's actually a very good thing. So that motion tells me, and I'm going to bring it back over to reflectivity, that the storm may be weakening rapidly at this point. So this is where there was circulation, was here, right there. Now, according to velocity, so that means that the rear flank would have been here, and then here would be the forward flank. But instead, what we're seeing, these two are merging. It's becoming flat.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming what we call, it's gusting out.
Okay.
So this is good for our friends in radium, for Larned. I think that you guys, doesn't mean that you're out of the woods by any stretch, but I think we're moving in the right direction. Make it stop, Jack. Why does that keep popping up?
I think you might have it selected on the, where were you in that other tab?
I have no idea. I'm lost.
Manual tracking.
I'm going to go back to the more reliable.
More
of the two
reliable.
radars.
Yeah.
Old reliable.
Mm-hmm. Simple is better sometimes.
The Cascadian Hiker wants to know what program you guys are using for radar. Well, we've got a good program, and then we've got a rather, I don't want to say bad program. It's not bad. It's got many great tools and features.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in some cases it's not as reliable.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back over to old reliable analyst. So this is GR Gibson Ridge Analyst. It's a premier radar that has a full suite of Doppler and dual pole functions. What makes it special is that it allows you to cover the storm in a three-dimensional way. You can do full volumetric scans, two-dimensional vertical slices of the storm, basically allowing you to see the storm at the highest resolution possible from every conceivable angle. And so it's great for severe weather analyzing, hence the name analyst.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get this back into motion here and kind of watching the evolution of the storm. Yeah, weakening continues. This is terrific. So maybe for our friends in Great Bend, hey, it looks like just some rain, maybe a little hail for you. Let's see what the bill is on this. You got one little pocket. Yeah, that's probably producing some pretty good sized hail. Inch and a half hail possible within there. So who's going to see the hail? Maybe the town of Dundee, Pawnee Rock maybe. It's generally moving up your way. There it comes. So there's that. Weather service, what are they saying? Come back over, Dodge City. Talking about potential some damage out towards Lewis, Kansas. Says it's not for media release, which means I don't really need to be talking about it. We've had unconfirmed reports from there earlier, so it's okay. All right, so let's check back over with our friends on YouTube. We've got Micholi on here. Yeah, that's RFD gust front, but there could be a little spin up along that gust front, and I get it. I know it's possible. We're watching. So maybe they should start extending. I don't know if they're going to do that. Let me look. I mean, they've got some time before they need to decide. Another thing that I'd like to look at is I'd like to look at the environment. It's one thing to know the trend of the actual storm, but what's the environment doing? Earlier today, you had 3,000 to 4,000 units of CAPE. What about now? So let's go on over to the Storm Prediction Center and let's see what's up. I'm going to take you to their meso analysis page, and we're going to analyze for thermodynamics and wind kinematics. I didn't make that word up. It's a real thing, Jack.
It's real?
It's real. Okay, and there we go. So this is a meso analysis page. You can see this yourself if you go to Storm Prediction Center. I want to see what surface-based CAPE is. And I mean, wow, Cape South is still very high. That's 4,000. That's in the Oklahoma Panhandle. But it's not quite as impressive. About 2,000 to 2,500. So it's down from earlier. That's enough juice for it to sustain, but as it moves east, it's running into more and more stable air, which means that the trends that we're probably seeing as far as from the radar are concerned, I think it's going to continue.
We should note too that this is only night one.
Yes.
What is looking to be extended period of chances for severe weather in the next few days here.
Very well said, Jack. So yeah, let's go over to the Storm Prediction Center because yeah, we've got more bad weather coming for the plains. So I'm going to load in the Storm Prediction Center's convective outlook, give you an idea of what to expect here over the next few days ahead. And with that, I will turn those warnings off. Okay. So this is the current convective outlook that we're checking out. It should be on. There you go. It's live. And you can see, now I'm going to have to adjust this so you can see it better. So this is the risk areas tonight. These are going to be redrawn here in an hour. So not going to pay too much attention to what it's showing for tonight. I wouldn't call it a bust up in central Nebraska, but honestly the real action looked like it was across western Kansas where they had the slight risk. So this is for tonight. So let's take you into the day tomorrow. So here's tomorrow. It's going to be real. Where, and I might be able to pull up some model data for you here in a moment. Show you what to expect during the day tomorrow. But tomorrow the show is going to be southeastern Oklahoma into eastern central Texas, western Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, that's Shreveport to Dallas, that's Little Rock to Fort Smith down to near San Antonio with an enhanced risk of severe weather. And then I think we get a bit of a break on Sunday. You're going to have a small risk across the Ohio River Valley in southern Great Lakes, but that risk doesn't look to be all that great. Monday, and do we have day 4? Yeah, here we go. Day 4. This is what, honestly...
Yeah, it didn't populate. Oh, there it is. Okay.
I'm concerned about this. I think we're looking at a legitimate outbreak potential. I mean, legitimate, where you're not just going to have one of those cells like we had tonight. Yeah. But you could have numerous. And so already in the day 4, they've got the Red River Valley of Texas, Big Country, where I used to work. That's Abilene, to near Lubbock, San Angelo included in that, to near Oklahoma City, and points west. That could be a bad day. Again, this is day 4. This will be for Monday. So this is the day that's really got my eye.
Now, does it say something that being day 4 that they're already predicting, those conditions?
Yeah, in their discussion, they are talking about it, and there's some reasons why. But we are looking at I'll show you. I mean, this is YouTube. We can do whatever we want. This is our own show.
Yeah.
This is our own show. So let's and I'm also going to bring up some model data that'll look into Monday too. Today's Friday. I can't use anything NAM. We'll have something. Give me a second. I'm pulling it up. You're looking at current radar. Again, they did extend that tornado warning. I kind of thought they would, but it's. I think they're just kind of covering. If something occurs out of this atmosphere here, again, as it moves east, we know it's moving into more and more stable air. And again, there's a look at the storm relative velocities. You got one little area that's trying to be a little bit of a pop up, and even that went away. The storm is dying. Okay, so Great Bend, technically they've got you under a tornado warning. I don't see that happening. I think you've got yourself a good old thunderstorm is what you've got. Could you have a spin up, as our friend on here was saying? Yeah, that's a Micholi on here. Um, there you go. You did call that Micholi. Amy Yates, yes, you guys have a schedule, lol. When is now? Now is now. That means that with Weather Live now, we're never on late.
Yeah.
We're always right on time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right on time. All right, so I wanted to quickly share some of what we're looking at for the storm that's coming our way next week. And I've got to get one of my favorite weather sources up in front of you guys. So here's what I want you to look at. It's about this upper pattern that we're seeing. And this time of the year, it's just so critical, it's so crucial. And so we're seeing, all right, Jack.
So that negative you're talking
Yeah,
about?
well, yes. So, and we've got a pair of them. So we've talked about this a little bit the last few nights, but there's a couple of these bad boys coming in. Let me make sure that you guys put your eyeballs on this. So while the threat is there tonight, it's winding down. The threat this next few days is going to be back. So essentially, this is what's occurring now. You got this wave that's diving out of the Rockies. It's going to lift tonight. Tomorrow, you get a little punchy wave tomorrow afternoon. That's why we've got that threat into eastern portions of Texas, and western Arkansas. That one's punchy, but it's nothing like the one that's coming in behind it. Look at this. This is a beast. You never want to see the jet stream fold like that.
Oh, no.
It's like completely folding over on itself. That is one of the strongest negative troughs you're going to see. When we see negative, we're talking about the tilt.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's tilted from northwest to southeast. When it's tilted, especially that strong, you got those type of winds where you're looking at jet stream level winds of anywhere between 100 and 140 knots. I mean, that's capable of doing a lot of things. First of all, what it's going to do is it's going to form a strong low pressure at the surface in the lee of the Rockies that's going to back the winds. So that'll back the winds out of the southeast. That'll pull up moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico. So the low level is going to be soupy. I imagine it's going to have an EML, an elevated mixed layer, which pulls in dry air about 700 millibar. And that'll keep a lid on, that'll keep thunderstorms from going up too early. That'll keep a lid. It's called a cap. And so basically what you do is you get these winds, they'll go southeast at the surface to south at maybe 850 millibars to southwest at 700. And then by the time you get up to 500, 200 millibars, you're out of the west, if not northwest. You're completely turning the atmosphere, powerful winds. You're capping the atmosphere artificially at 700, allowing heat, humidity to build, and instability to build to a point when these storms go, they rupture.
Mm-hmm.
And they turn as they go. I'm going to say, and I don't have to look at much, and we're not going to spend the night diagnosing what's coming our way on Monday, but this, my friends, is something that everybody's going to have to watch out for. Our friends across the plains, look out. That's ominous. That does not look good.
Mm-hmm.
I've got is it Naomi? No, Naomi Links. My husband and I have to move from South Dakota to Wichita Falls, Texas, May 24th. By vehicle, is this something we should be concerned about? May 24th, I think all this mess is going to move out by then. Let's take a look at precipitation. And we'll move forward in time real quick. Quick look at the forecast. Again, by the 24th, you're talking about you're going to have plenty of opportunity, I think, to move this nasty stuff out. So I say that. It's just a persistent, awful, stormy pattern. So there's Monday's storm. Tuesday. I'd say, first of all, good luck with your trip. Second of all, I have too little information to tell you definitively. This run here suggests that you could have some thunderstorms, maybe some inclement weather around the 24th that you may have to travel through. I'd say come back in a couple of days and revise your plans as necessary from there. And we'll be happy to do that, to help you with your forecast. Just drop me a line here on this YouTube channel, or come back to us, because it's obvious we're going to be back here over the next few days ahead. All right, there's that risk. Again, this is for Monday, so pretty bad news. Another update from the current storm. You do have the 2 tornado warnings associated with that. Great Bend, you're fine. You're in the clear. Technically under a tornado warning. It's not a tornado. Again, we're still looking at that rear flank downdraft. It's trying to hold on. You know, could it produce another spin up? It could, but overall, it looks like the trends are moving in the right direction. It doesn't look nearly as ominous or threatening as it did. So that's positive. And maybe just a few more comments on here. Devin Palmer, should Kansas be concerned for Monday? I think the threat at this point looks like it's going to be south of you primarily. But this is a big enough storm that yeah, it's definitely possible that gets thrusted further and further north in time. So the current Storm Prediction Center, their thoughts for Monday, they've got basically southern half of Kansas in a slight. Could that get upgraded to an enhanced or a moderate? Yes. Yes, it absolutely could. And it could not be just the southern part of the state affected. This could be a large enough storm that I would say all the way to the Nebraska border, you could be impacted by it. So you're going to want to stay tuned. Weather Service is typically, or Storm Prediction Center is typically pretty conservative on day 4. They're not being terribly conservative right now.
No, not at all.
And for good reason. But yeah, I mean, outbreak, I think it's likely. I think it's likely at this point. You're welcome. Oh, you're military, so she's like, I'd love to reschedule, but it's not quite that simple. I gotcha completely. Well, if there's anything that we can do to help, don't hesitate. In Moore, Oklahoma again, I hope not. My goodness, that's the last thing they would need. Last thing they would need is another major outbreak. But you know, they're not in great position. I can tell you that. So that's Monday. Let's keep in mind tomorrow is going to have its own bugaboos across portions of Texas and southeastern Oklahoma. So there's tomorrow. That's an enhanced. Does include areas like Fort Smith to Shreveport. And then day 3 pushes it into the Ohio Valley, but much weaker. And then, as we've been talking about, it's day 4 that's got everybody's attention. Now, day 5, it's going to move further east, but it could still be a story across the middle Mississippi River Valley. So all of this needs to be watched here over the next few days. Speaking of watching, I'm going to do one last scan of the Kansas storm we've been tracking with you tonight. Just kind of I want to do a little pulse check because it's getting late. We've got to get this guy home. I'm not paying him hourly like his other job does. So, but I think I can say with casual confidence that if a tornado were to drop out of the storm at this point, it will be a weak one. So heed the warnings. But we're not going to stay with this tonight. I do want to look maybe larger field. They've still got some severe thunderstorm warnings across northern Kansas. Again, this time of the night when you're losing heating in the absence of strong forcing, like such as the storm Monday night will bring, you don't have that with this one. So once you lose the juice, once you lose the instability, the fireworks are basically over. So that's at least the way I'm looking at this. But we'll be back. We'll be back with more of these. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Again, WxLIVE Now, new program we launched today. This is Jack Allen. I'm Jeremy Kappell. Thank you very much for being here. We'll be back as weather warrants here over the next few days. You can bet we're going to be tracking Monday like a hawk. Thanks for being here tonight, guys. We'll talk to you again soon. Again, I'm Jeremy Kappell. That's Jack Allen. You guys have a great night.
Have a good night.
Bye.